Got a very good friend and a fellow work colleague on with us today, and he's Chris Tarrant. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Tom. Good afternoon.
How are we doing today?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
It's a pleasure. So before we get started, I did this with my last call with Alex, a little icebreaker. Now, last time we played a little game called Send or Delete, and the basis was he had to scroll through his contacts. I told him to stop, and then he had to decide whether to delete that contact or send them a text I had pre-written. However, we're going to change it up slightly this week, and the icebreaker is going to be, if you could pick any superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh wow, that's an interesting one. Mainly because I've just recently binge watched the full Marvel episodes, films all the way through from beginning to end, and I actually had this conversation with my wife just the other day. I think that I would like I'd like the powers of Doctor Strange. I think he's got all the power to be able to make it happen, and he can literally rewind, fast forward time, move people through things. So I think I do him. He can fly. He's got the full shebang, really. But yeah, so I'll go Captain Strange on that one.
Ah, that's very unique. That's one I've not heard before, so that's very good. How are you finding the Marvels? Have you watched them all from start to finish?
So start from the beginning to the end, they're absolutely brilliant. It's really good to watch them back to back if you have the time, which we all do at the moment, because actually it puts it into context a little bit more. You start noticing more of the nods to the other films, and when you go, you've obviously got the origin stories and you've got the main Avenger ones as well, and it's good to see how they all interlace and tie together. So we had a great, I felt probably about a week, 2 weeks, just doing one every other day or something like that, getting through every film. It was great fun.
Amazing. Now I have to ask, because I cried on the end game. Did you shed a tear?
Every time I watch it.
Every time. I can't still watch that end game without actually getting all emotional inside.
Brilliant.
So we've got you on the call today. This episode's sort of mental health and all things entertainment. So I was on your show on Sunday, talk about my experience in entertainment and how I got into it. So I thought we'd start off by asking how you first got into entertainment, how long have you been in entertainment, and what's been your favourites throughout the years?
Okay, yeah, no worries. Well, I sort of fell into entertainment. I absolutely, it's something I definitely wanted to do. I knew that. I just never knew what route I was going to take to get into it and how it would progress. I started off working in Butlins in Bognor Regis in 2004 on the crew doing the technical stuff, so moving all the props and scenery and everything like that. And then I auditioned to be a Redcoat in 2005 and got the gig as Redcoat, but up in Skegness. So I moved up to Skegness Butlins in 2005, and I was there for the subsequent 5 years. Across the time I was there, I did everything from Damien Panto to presenting game shows to thousands. I also did all the X Factor people who came off. We used to interview those and on the stage and that type of thing, and anything and everything, and also team leading and supporting the Redcoat stuff with PR, all sorts of stuff like that. So that was me until about 2010. Then I went for a brief stint, just the one stint, on a cruise ship, just with P&O for one contract. Thought it was a route I wanted to take, and I wanted to see. Obviously, I had friends in that who went and done it themselves, so I thought I'd give that a try. I enjoyed it for one contract, but it wasn't where my heart lied. My heart lied in Bournemouth. So that's when I came back, and I managed to get a position as entertainment manager over at Haven in 2011, and that was when a time of change for Haven and involvement, and so I came on board then, and from there I did a year's ents managing up to when I became a senior support partner, and now I between the dabbling of going back to Butlins, did that for 2 years in 2016, managing all the Redcoats and looking after all the acts and artists. And then that progressed on to where I am now, where I'm an entertainment support partner for the central support team for Haven, curating, putting together, helping drive forward all of our entertainment and looking after you lovely lot. So there you go, in a nutshell. That's what I've been up to.
Amazing. So you've been across, you started at Butlins, moved over to Haven, did a short stint on the cruise ship. So big question, over the years you've worked in entertainment, what would you say your favourite season is?
Ah, well, you know what? I say to everybody the same thing all the time. Your favourite season is probably the first one, the one where it's all new to you, when you're blinkered in the headlights and you don't really know what's going on, but you're rolling with it. Some of my best friends came from my first year as being a redcoat, and some of my best experiences came first year managing with Haven. So, you know, when a new experience comes along, it's all normally the first year of that, when it's all exciting and new and you don't really know what's in store, that type of thing. So, yeah, that's why I'd say that one.
It's for your first season. I think for me it'd be my first season because, like you said, it's all that it's new, it's exciting. Not that every year is not exciting, but it's that first year of sort of a new job away from home and sort of just enthralling sort of the entertainment world and adult life.
Absolutely.
Cool. So, how have you been getting on during the whole lockdown period? How have you been finding it? Have you been getting up to anything other than obviously watching the Marvel films back to back? Have you been keeping yourself busy? What's your sort of daily routine?
Absolutely, it's been a day. It is taking it day by day, I think, for everybody, isn't it? Obviously, I've been working out with Joe Wicks, Rio Ferdinand, all sorts of people on the internet, and with me and my wife, we do daily walks and stuff, take the dog out, and yeah, there's not a lot going on, to be perfectly honest with you. We seem to be binge watching things we've been binge watched before, and new stuff that we wanted to watch. So, you know, there's a lot of perks with this situation with regards to reconnecting with people. But then on the same breath, you're reconnecting with people through the medium of the internet. So, you know, it's impersonal, but at least it's a connection, you know. So I've been obviously having random quizzes and catch ups with teams from across the years. My Craig Tara team for 2014 and 2015 have both got their own little group chats going on. I've been having a chat with them, catching up with them, and we're making plans to meet up and that. And yeah, I think it is that time where you think, you know, that when you're busy through the rigmarole of life and you're like, I must get in touch with that person, this is the time when you can do it. And I think it's that, you know, if you're going to take any silver lining from all of this stuff going on right now, I think that's the people side of things is one of them that you need to take some solace in.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen a lot of, certainly in the last sort of 3-4 weeks, the entertainment industry itself has had to adapt and change dramatically. I mean, if you look on TV, there's TV shows being recorded at home for a laptop with a microphone. There's entertainers going online doing their live shows, like singing in the bathrooms or the bedrooms or out in the garden when it's a nice day.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of quizzes online. Obviously, you've got your EOS page,
Yeah.
where we do entertainment as well.
Sharp. You wonder what that meant, didn't you?
Yeah, it took me ages to try and work it out, and in the end, I just had to ask you. I was like, "What does this mean?" But it's great.
It's a platform for us to entertain people, but not directly through me, because A, I wouldn't want to take credit for stuff, and B, it's a generic platform where people won't be able to get on my personal Facebook and stuff like that. But that's where I've been advertising friends and families, bits and pieces. We've got friends of mine, Natalie, who's been doing yoga classes, and a few of the other the Club of Size with Olivia and things like that. So I just wanted to do my bit and sort of just plug those a little bit as well. And that was at the beginning of their journey. Now they've got a solid following, and that I've let them carry and crack on and do what they're doing with that. And same with me and Neil Dixon. Neil's doing a fantastic quiz at the moment that's really gaining some traction. And so we started off doing these lockdown live nights, which was a whole night of entertainment, trying to make it similar to what we would be doing on the parks, but through the internet. But we found we were one of the first people to start it out, and as we evolved through the weeks, everyone started doing it. So everyone's got their niche. They've got their friends or family, but they want to support them by viewing what they're doing. So, and like you say, everybody's been in the shower for the best acoustic, singing in their songs, putting their 10p in, and showing what their talent lies in. So we decided to strip it back a little bit, and now I do my DJ stuff. Neil does his quiz stuff, and I do a little nod to a few other bits. Your TomTalks as one of those I've been advertising as well, and I've been doing my conversation shows, just like you say, mainly for the reason to ease the boredom, but to have a conversation with people, maybe in more depth than I have done in the past, get to know them a bit better and see what they've done. I think it's very similar reasons to why you're doing what you're doing with this one. So it's all stuff I wanted to do in the past, but never really had the time. So this is a great opportunity to be able to dabble in it and have a look at it. And I think as well, with all the technology the way it is right now, it's great to really see how far you can push it from the confines of your own home with regards to technology and stuff. I never realised that some of the stuff that I already had was so capable of delivering things like this. So it's really, really cool. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Christery and Kiss DJ sets Wednesdays, Fridays, curiosity conversations on a Sunday, just to tick me over and keep me going. And hopefully people can listen in, watching, and they get a little bit of benefit from that as well.
Yeah, I think it's amazing because obviously you and like Neil started off his quiz. It literally just sort of started with the Haven Entertainment guys, managers and teams getting involved, and then you started doing your DJ sets, which sort of filled the night out a bit more because you had the quiz that was like 20 minutes long. You went into the evening with your DJ sets, and it's kind of, I think, inspired people that have been listening and taking part to reach out and do it with sort of their own friends, their own families, their own teams.
Absolutely.
Neil was saying the other day.
Sorry,
that's all right. Neil was saying
exactly what it is. We've got Nick, who's done his Freddie Mercury tribute, and we've got we had Joel Coombs doing his Elton John tribute. Martha came and sang us some songs for our sing-along karaoke live, and from there Martha's got a whole YouTube channel now where she's doing lots of crazy fun videos throughout the day for days and weeks as well. So everybody is, like you say, jumping on it and doing their bit as well. Now they know they can, and I think it's great. So it's all in good nature. It's all in good spirits, and I think everyone's doing it for the right reasons. Just to, I don't think there's any self-promotion or anything like that. I think it's just all about making people happy during the lockdown and giving them options to try things out. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially in this time, obviously, touching on the mental health side, I've been doing a bit of research on it, and obviously mental health over the years has been quite a taboo subject. People don't talk about it. It's where in the last couple of years it's really sort of come forward. There's lots of charities out there. People are starting to talk more. And I think in this sort of time where we're all sort of isolated and locked in our own homes, it was quite an interesting fact, actually, that it's 16% more likely for somebody in the entertainment industry to have severe mental health, with whether that's depression or anxiety, which is doubled over this lockdown period, for the fact a lot of entertainers are self-employed, losing contracts, and obviously being self-employed, they've got no money coming in. So it's the mental health charities have seen an increase in people ringing up that work in the entertainment industry. What's your sort of takes on the mental health? Have you ever worked with people that have it? Have you got any advice for anybody? Like,
I think it's great that it's talked about more than ever. I think it's great that big businesses, big companies, just like Born Leisure, offer amazing support with everything like that, for anything like that. And I think, you know, I could stem it right back from when I was 18, working in the cinema and Butlins in Bognor before I even started entertainment. The environment, the people you're around and everything like that, you really, it just wasn't talked about as much before. It existed, but I don't think it was something that was spoken about or something that was identified as a mental health challenge. And I think now that we do talk about it more, people can identify with it and say, yeah, actually, I think I'm going through a little bit of something right now. And it's less taboo subject. There's much more support and much less pressure to not do anything about it. And I think I think that's a great thing. I do think this has obviously spurred up a lot of anxiety for the self-employed performance people and entertainers out there. I think the unknown is the reason for that. I think it's purely and simply we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how long this is going to last, and nobody expected it. And like people have been saying in the news and the media, this is something that hasn't happened for over 100 years and wasn't expected to evolve in this way. I mean, I can remember us rehearsing ready for delivering a fantastic season up in North Wales in January, February, and this was on the conversational side of things. It was, oh, have you heard about this coronavirus over in China? You know, now it's hitting us directly on our doorstep, and drastic measures have been taken quite swiftly. I don't think we're out of the woods for a long while yet, and I think when it comes to mental health and stuff, I think in the nature of what we do as entertainer people, whether you're a presenter, singer, DJ, just general all-round entertainer. You are you are hired for your skill and your talent, but your personality plays a massive part in that. And I think naturally, people who are more outgoing, looking for that, I don't know, approval on stage maybe or something like that, there's sort of a hunger for stuff like that. And I think that all ties in with this, because when it all just stops, you just have. I know for me personally, you just stop and think, and you can overthink, and your brain can go straight the other way. So it is tough, but it is out there. But I do think it's acknowledged. I do think it's supported from a business level. But I just think with this unprecedented time at the moment, there's not a lot at the moment that people can do apart from talk about it and communicate, like I said before. And it all ties back into re-communicating again with friends and family, and keeping video calls strong. Plan to do stuff. Don't just fall into that rut of I'm just going to watch telly and eat, and that's going to be me for the next few months, because it will soon catch up on you.
Yeah, it does indeed. I think I found even just getting out for sort of like a 20-minute walk, just sort of around where my mum lives at the moment, it's just get that fresh air in and just kind of keep myself busy. I think this is probably the quietest I've been in a long time, where I've got like so much time to myself, because normally I'm always on the go. I'm always finding new stuff to do at work. I'm always kind of keeping myself creative and getting busy. And then it's kind of like we've gone on that stop, everything's shut down. We've been like putting lockdown, and it's just finding that time where you've got more time on your hands, and it's like, what do I do? And I've found it quite easy where I'll structure on my phone in my reminders, like I'll set my alarm every morning for like 9 o'clock, so I'll get up at 9 o'clock every morning. I won't touch my phone for an hour. I'll get up, I'll have a shower, have some breakfast, have a cup of tea, and then like I'll set reminders during the day saying, right, at this time I'm going to go out for a walk, or this time I'm going to go to Tesco and grab some food. And then I'll look online at recipes to cook. So I like to challenge myself since going into lockdown, finding myself more time to cook stuff. So last week I made TGI Friday sesame seeded chicken.
I think that's social media. It looked good.
Yeah, with the sauce as well, which the sauce took the longest time to make. But it was incredible. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm kind of looking at different recipes.
Context. I mean, when do you normally have enough time to be able to do that? Because if my experience of anything to go by, when I was entertainment manager, I was rotating takeaways quite often. I never had time to really actually cook properly, and I don't ever want to. I think that's the nature of the beast, and I think you can really relate to what's going on right now. It's a little bit like when you work at somewhere like Haven or a seasonal business, when you're in the winter stages and you're at the end of the winter stages and you're just waiting to get going again. It's like we've revved the engine and then we've turned the key off again, and it's about getting back into that. And we had a lovely winter and well needed rest over winter, but then everyone's raring to go again, and we can't. And I think that's where where the challenge lies, because it's okay to do it over the winter for a month or two when you know you're going to go back into a job, it's going to be fresh, you're going to start again, the energy is going to come back. But actually this has obviously gone on now for a month, 6 weeks, something like that, and we're nowhere near the end of it yet. We're really not. As much as speculation starts, my opinion is that we're going to be hopefully the engines will start firing again June time. I'm hoping, but who knows? It's the goalposts are changing all the time, and I think everybody just needs to be prepared for that, and just not overthink, take it a day at a time, and just prepare for every eventuality.
I think that's the main thing. Like I look at it, is every day is a step closer to sort of getting back to some sort of normality. I mean, it was only the other day Boris Johnson extended the lockdown by a further 3 weeks up until sort of the 31st of May. But then, like you say, it's evolving and it's changing every single day. There's always like news updates on the media. So I always look at it as say, right, go to bed tonight, I wake up tomorrow, and it's one step closer to being able to get back to normality and sort of get back to that work style. Because I don't do very well not working. I'm very much a workaholic. So having all this downtime, it is driving me insane a little bit. There's only so much computer games I can play.
Absolutely, I've been on the Xbox non-stop. I think you're right, and I think it's one of those things where you just got to keep your brain engaged, and you can do physical stuff, and you can make everything a bit like Groundhog Day if you choose to, but it's keeping your brain engaged, doing new things, making sure you're checking in with people, and just again taking it a day at a time. That's all we can all do. Like I've actually been surprised. I have a shopping day every Friday, and I'm surprised how quickly that comes around now. That's how much of a routine I feel like I'm in right now. It's like, I never normally do a weekly shop. It's unheard of, but we've been doing that, and actually we're like, oh god, it's time to go to the shop again. It's like, so as much as in some respects this whole situation is going really really quick, really really slow, in other respects it's actually going quite quickly. And all I keep saying to myself as well is just enjoy it, because actually in a couple of months' time, or hopefully in a month's time, or whenever it will be, you're going to be back in work. You're going to be working your butt off, and you're going to be thinking, oh, I remember when I could just sit back and relax and play GTA.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to get to that point where when we get back to work, we're going to be that full on and that raring to go that it's just you're going to start being like, oh, remember when we had like a month off work and we were all chilling out, and now we're back to being busy again. Like, I think it'll be quite interesting to see how quick it becomes, not a distant memory, but sort of like we look back on it and be like, oh, I remember that time when we were all off work and we had so much time on our hands, and now look at us, we're back into the business. Like, and I personally think the UK holiday sector will boom, purely for the fact people won't be able to afford to go abroad as early, because obviously getting the refunds back from the airlines and the hotels and stuff like that. So I think they'll be more looking at staying in the UK and having a small family holiday this year and maybe into next year before they start to say, do you know what, let's go abroad this year.
I just think there'll be apprehension. I think that hopefully, 100% I agree with you. I really hope that we do get a lot of guests come and join us once we reopen and we're regularly going for it again. And I just think there'll be apprehension, firstly, to go anywhere, but that should die off in the UK pretty swiftly. But I think apprehension to go abroad, because everybody was on a different journey with this. Everyone's on a different path going through COVID, and I think you just need, I think, as an example, my friend's got a trip to Ibiza planned. He's not going to be able to go, he doesn't think, but he's got his fingers crossed. But then he hears stuff that, okay, they're relaxing the rules on the beaches in Spain. So, I think it's down to each government, each country, depends where you want to go. But I think generally you're right. People will want to stay in the UK, and I've had the first few days of bad weather today, and it just makes this whole lockdown thing 10 times worse over the last few days. But before that, I could have been on holiday. It was that beautiful. I live by the beach anyway, so I'm always going for my daily walk along the seafront. And it's and you do feel a bit guilty, because actually, you're getting to do your daily walk on where people come on holiday, and actually it's a beautiful sunny day, and you're walking along there. Yeah, you're keeping a distance from people, but at the same breath, you're like, oh, I feel really bad for this, because it's a really idyllic situation. And if the weather improves over the summer and we get to reopen and do whatever, I think we'll have loads of people coming to our parks. I really hope so. Really hope so.
Absolutely, especially because we've got so many beautiful locations. Like you say, you live down in Bognor by the beach and stuff like that, which is a massive holiday tourist destination. Are you finding it busy there, or is it like a ghost town now? Or are there still people sort of out and about walking? Do you see other people exercising, or is it literally like a ghost town?
It's a ghost town to holidaymakers. There are obviously no one around, but I feel like what's counterbalanced that is exactly the fact that everybody's on lockdown. They're only allowed one walk a day, and of course they're going to do it along the seafront. So depending what the weather's like and what time of day you go in, there has been a few people around. It has been a little bit like dodge the person. But that being said, there's a lot of respect out there. I feel like people are keeping their distance. I find the only time I've actually found it frustrating socially distancing is when I go into a large supermarket and people just think, oh, this is my personal opinion, is that you queue up in that queue for you're 2 meter distance away, and you do that for a good 20 minutes, half an hour, depending how long or what time you've gone. And then all of a sudden, some people think once you're in, it's a free pass to start hugging, and they're in the way, and they're just cutting you up and going in front of you, and they're not. It's like they've gone, oh, I've done my social distancing bit. Now I'm in the shop. I can just run around how I like. And actually, that's the most frustrating part for me. That's why we've competently chosen to go to smaller supermarkets a little bit further away from the big ones near us, because we don't want that rigmarole and that chaos that can ensue, especially if you pick and go at the wrong time of the day.
Yeah, I think I found that. Like, you'll queue out. I think I've queued outside Tesco and Asda for at least a good half an hour to get into the actual supermarket. And no matter how precautious the supermarkets are being by helping to prevent the social distancing and stuff, the people are just walking around with their trolleys, not caring in the world. I was in with my mum the other day in Asda, and there were just people cutting us up and just sort of walking in front of us or stopping, having a chat with people. And it's just like, from my opinion, some people aren't really taking it as serious as they should be, and you've got some that will walk around full masks on, hats on, gloves on, walking around, and it's quite interesting to see like the different aspects of it and how some people are taking it seriously, some people aren't taking it seriously. But I think it does annoy me when I walk into a supermarket and they're all just sort of, it's like literally like a free for all. They're all just sort of roaming around. They're not following the paths that they've set out for you. They're not taking into account the 2 meter distancing. Even picking up fruit and veg, they're just there with their bare hands into bags and stuff, picking fruit up and feeling it, then putting it back. And I just think,
well, I do think there's some. I don't think everybody does it on purpose. I just think people get wrapped up in themselves and wrapped up in what they're there to do.
Yeah.
Probably with the right. And 9 times out of 10, it is all with the right intent, but for themselves. But they don't think about the bigger picture, bigger people, and everything like that. And yeah. So I think it'll get better. But I do also think that there's a situation that we'll have in the next few weeks where people will start hitting a bit of a point. Everyone's took this on the chin so far, and I just don't want it to. I want people to take it seriously as long as it takes. And I think Boris made it very clear, didn't he, that this is the long game, and we're not going to have a second peak. So we've just all got to continue to do this. And unless we don't, then remember Spain, they did lockdown on the beaches, they did full lockdown. I feel like our version of lockdown is actually quite relaxed in comparison to some other countries, and I think that means that Boris still has a card to play if he wanted to really hammer this home, and we might even have a day of exercise taken away from us if we don't don't take care of it and don't do what we are being asked to do. And I'd hate that if I couldn't get out of the house to go down the seafront because we weren't allowed or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've been very lucky in a country where our lockdown has been sort of very relaxed, in the sense of we can still go out and we can exercise and do our essential food shoppers. Where if you look at like France and Italy and even Spain, like when they went into total lockdown, it was completely shut down. Police were patrolling the streets, and there was social media videos of the Italian or the French police going out and playing music in the streets while people were stuck inside their flats and their apartments and stuff, just to try and boost their morale because they were in complete lockdown. So I do think we've been very lucky in the sense of our lockdown, and hopefully in the sort of the next few weeks it gets a little bit better and things start getting relaxed more, and it's a sort of a progress towards sort of getting back to normality again.
Absolutely, I really hope so, and we'll keep doing our thing. We'll keep doing our entertainment through the medium of the internet, and I could keep saying, thank God for the internet, because this would be a million times different experience if we didn't have it. I know you didn't yesterday, but
I was assuming I couldn't do my podcast yesterday. I couldn't go on the Xbox yesterday. I couldn't even. I was limited to what Sky channels I could watch yesterday. It was a nightmare, absolute nightmare.
Well, I'm quite lucky. We've got good internet around here, so it has been a godsend. It has been a lifeline, and I think we've been doing family video chats that we've never even bothered to do in the past, and stuff like that. And I do worry about. I do think there's going to be a boom when we're at the other end of this. I think there'll be a massive boom in all sorts of things, from the arts to restaurants, dining out. But I've already said to my wife that we're going to go for a full week of just eating out in different restaurants, just to say back and all of our favourites. Go for a Five Guys, and then go for a Wildwood, and then get a Oaxaca the night after. I think there's also, as an example, we had a refund on a ticket to see Six the Musical from the theatre, and they gave us a voucher rather than a refund, which I actually don't mind, because I actually think that I want to support places, like all the shows and all the theatre and the arts. And I think we all need to get behind them, because they're, like you said before, the freelance performers that are involved in these productions, the technicians, the producers, all of them, like they're all waiting. They work to each paycheck. They work to each gig. They don't work consistently. I know people that have come off cruise ships working for Disney, etc., who are now driving around Tesco vans giving out food. I think that's the reality of it. And I think it's fantastic. And I think it's great that they're doing that. But also, let's not forget all of the hard work they've had getting to where they are in their profession, getting to where they are in their career, and how they need to just. I just want all of this, when it finishes, we can just go back to business as usual. And I worry that the longer it continues, the harder that will be.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm very jealous that you've had tickets to go and see Six, because that is the one musical I really want to go and see. My girlfriend got me into it. She was playing it on Spotify, and I absolutely love it. I'm dying to go and see it. I
really want to go and see it. And I think that's the one we will go and see, along with Only Fools and Horses. I want to see that one in London as well. And I'm quite lucky. We're jumping a train. We're in London in an hour and a half. And so we'll definitely go and support the arts and the theatre, because especially the smaller theatres, the tinier ones, like we've got a local one in Bognor. We go and see one or two things a year just to support it. And we've got Chichester Festival Theatre, which is an amazing theatre that has loads of great productions that end up in the West End. They use Chichester Festival Theatre as a bit of a testing ground for certain musicals and stuff, and so it's really important to support them. And obviously comedy, like I love going to see live comedy. Got the Guildhall in Portsmouth, we've got the Mayflower in Southampton, we go down to Brighton sometimes as well. There's loads of theatres and different venues and productions that we want to support and want to go and see, because that's, for us as a couple, that's one of the biggest things that we love to do, is just go out and have a night at the theatre or a night out enjoying ourselves with live performance. I think it's really important. And I think out of everything that's going on, as much as it's entertainment that's actually keeping us together on the television and stuff like that and on the internet, it's also entertainment that will pull us back out of it at the other end.
Yeah, absolutely. All about the live entertainment as well, like you say, supporting those people that have spent their lives and sort of their careers working hard to get to where they are, into like the West End productions and the pantos and stuff like that. I think that's as much as important as it is to sort of support local shops as well.
Absolutely. Fingers crossed, Pantoland will be. I mean, it could be, if the timing's right, the best year that Panto will ever have. If it turns out to be just at the time when everybody's booming back outside again, trying new things and getting out there, if they time it right, then Panto could be the best year they've had so far. But let's hope so, because then again, that is always. I know lots of friends in Panto as directors, producers, and performers, and it's and that's their bread and butter. And I think it needs to go well for the winter. And when I alluded to it before about how long this is going to last, I do think that if it does go into the winter time, heaven forbid, like it would be a real shame to lose out. I mean, just like you have businesses, local businesses, whether it be a baker, news agents, whatever, that are going under at the moment because they just can't actually, even with the government support, stay afloat. That's the same thing for productions. It's the same thing for pantomimes and theatres. A lot of these smaller theatres are held up by their pantomime productions, and if they're unable to do them, there will come a breaking point for them, just like Kath Kidston's just gone under, and all of these other businesses. Entertainment and performance and the theatre is no different. So watch your space, but let's hope that it doesn't last that long, and actually it will give the whole economy of that side of things a big boost with a bit of luck.
Absolutely. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed indeed. Well, thank you for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you as always.
No problem. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for having me on.
It's been a pleasure. Well, that's been TomTalks, episode 2. Make sure you join in next week for episode 3. Make sure you give this video a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel as well. For me, Tom, it's a very goodbye.